The Real News with Lucretia Hughes is funded by you, the viewers, not U.S. aid. So to support the show, please donate through PayPal at Fallback Production Studio, Cash App $ Lucretia Hughes 44, Venmo at Lucretia-Hughes, or shop at our store, fallbackusa2.myshopify.com. Thank you so much.
Politicians are very good at playing with words. They always talk about gun control. How about right control? Because when you go against the Second Amendment, that's our right. That's our God-given right, not only by God, but by the founding fathers. So why don't you just call it what it really is, right control? You're taking our rights away. You cannot regulate evil. Evil is evil, and evil is always going to be persistent, and it's always going to be here. So why get rid of our ability to protect ourselves? The Second Amendment right protects the rest of them, and it protects us. It protects your home, your body, and your spirit, because without it, how are you going to protect yourself? Don't be a sheep. Don't follow just because it's popular. Think for yourself. Be yourself. Be that individual that God made you to be. You wasn't born to follow. You was born to lead. Hey there, what is going on? Oh, make sure you bring on Josh Calloway, please. They're gonna be tag teaming. So please bring on Josh also. He's a representative too. You gotta show both of them love, Dave. And newcomer, y'all Rumble people, y'all better show Chris Bacon some love over there, okay? Chris, it doesn't matter if you're not a religious man. Prayer changes things, sir. So I appreciate you just willing to pray for me and mine. So everybody, we got 2 guests coming on right about now. Welcome. Okay, we'll keep going. Welcome back to The Real News with Lucretia Hughes and Dave. And it looked like Josh and Candy coming up. Y'all get over there. And like I said, if you're a voting member of the NRA, please make sure that you look inside the magazines and vote for me for the board of directors of the NRA. Yeah, they want to make it a big deal that I will be the very first black female to ever sit on the board of directors in their whole history. It's not about that for me. It's making sure that we keep our 2A intact of everything, because we're going to need it, all right? Are we going to need it really well? And then y'all make sure to support us. Go over there and donate. Please, please, please donate. You know, since everybody say I'm begging anyway, I might as well sound like James Brown. And if not, get on over there to Fallback USA .myshopify.com. You can support us that way. You got it, Dave? Okay, Josh, unmute your microphone. Hey, Josh. All right, I'm bringing them in now. All right, everybody, I want to introduce you to, let me get it right. These are sitting representatives of Kentucky. Our very first one is Candy Massaroni. Hope I said that name.
Thank you for having me. Yes, ma'am.
And then Josh Calloway. You can't mess that name up. Hey, Josh. Hey, Candy.
How are you?
Hi.
How y'all doing? Y'all the one up there in Kentucky with, you got, you got Mitch McConnell. How are y'all doing up there?
Well, we also have Rand Paul and we have Thomas Massey, so we're very fortunate for them. So,
but he didn't vote for any of the picks. Not Pete. Not Pam, not even Tulsi Gabbard. He didn't even vote for RFK. Why is he there anymore?
I don't think he's going to run again. That's my assumption. So,
who is he promising a seat to, or do you think that there's a great candidate out there that y'all can vet that would actually be able to take that spot where it won't be such a fight and a split within the party?
Well, there's actually several candidates that's putting their names in. One of them is Nate Morris, and he has been very outspoken. I think he's going to be a good candidate, and I would suspect Daniel Cameron, who ran for governor, will also be running for that seat. And there's several others I know are eyeing the seat. So it's a very sought after seat in Kentucky.
Well, you go up there. We need a female or Josh. One of y'all can actually go up there and change some things.
Hey, Candy could do it. I'm telling you.
Well, we're working in Frankfurt right now. We got some great legislation that we're hoping to move in Frankfurt. So we're trying to fix it at a state level right now.
Y'all to tell us exactly what is going on in Kentucky. Go ahead.
Okay, we are actually in the middle of our legislative session. We're in a 30-day session right now, and Josh and I was going to talk about a few bills. Josh has some very interesting things to bring up to you later, but one of my main priorities is a bill called Defend the Guard. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No.
So what this bill does, we have National Guard that's deployed all over the world in war zones, combat zones, and that is not the intent of the National Guard. So what we're trying to do is make it constitutional. If we're going to send our troops to war, it needs to be declared by Congress as in the Constitution. So there actually hasn't been a war declared in, I think, over 70 years.
Then why are we wasting trillions of dollars fighting other people's wars? And then President Donald Trump just had a press conference. See, we on the show, we've only been looking at the paperwork, the weaponry, the money that's been given to Ukraine. Well, President Donald Trump just came out and said they received $350 billion from the United States. And then I think he said the UK or another country over there, they gave them another $100 billion. Where did the money
insanity.
go?
It is insanity. My husband and I both are retired military, and I think the waste that we have is. I am very thankful for Donald Trump and Elon Musk for taking this on. I didn't think anybody in my lifetime would even be able to challenge some of the waste going on. So I'm impressed. It's like Christmas every day when we wake up to see what they've discovered. So pretty excited about it.
Okay, but with the bill with protecting the Guard, and you're saying that the only way that the National Guard from Kentucky can be pulled to any war, it must be declared by Congress, right?
Yes, and there's actually multiple states that have followed this as a grassroots effort. Multiple states have followed it. Some of them has made it through committees, and it's just like it should be. The way the Constitution states that we should not be at war. We shouldn't send our guardsmen to war without a declaration of war. And unfortunately, Afghanistan, Iraq, none of those were actually declared wars, and we've had thousands and thousands of Kentucky troops over there for 6 months, year, 2 years at a time, come back with, all the problems with PTSD. We've had soldiers killed, and we need to get it back to the way the Constitution intended.
So
the problem is the problem is that the war machine has come to the place that they depend on the National Guard, and there's so much money that funnels through it. They have it set up where they're so dependent on it that they claim they can't follow the Constitution, which is absurd.
Wait. How you mean? There are sitting representatives that took an oath of office to uphold and defend the Constitution. Do they read the Constitution?
Good question.
It's a very good question.
Well, if they taken an oath of office, here's something that you might can suggest or put it into law. They must take a continuous education classes of civics.
I think every elected representative needs to take a civics plus every high school. We actually did pass legislation in Kentucky that would require, it's not, I don't think it has a lot of teeth, but it will at least require students to have some civic education before they graduate.
What about leadership positions, elected officials? Should they have a continuous education class in ethics, civics, the Constitution, and the rule of law? And it don't have to be 20 hours, 40 hours, or 80 hours, but at least they have to take that continuous education class, and not somebody in their office, but them themselves must take it so they can be up to date on their oaths of office, and maybe they won't be so willing to take kickbacks from USAID.
I absolutely agree. I think every elected official from the school board on up needs to know the Constitution. And Kentucky, we do have a supermajority of Republicans, but we also have a pretty tyrant governor. Mm-hmm. So, and Josh has a lot of good information on our governor. So that's some of the things that we find. We got the executive branch that's pretty
But your
politically
governor
charged.
is a Republican.
Governor's a Democrat.
Wait a minute. You got
Yes.
supermajority, but you got a Democrat as a governor?
Yes, ma'am. And he was
Yes.
actually in the bid to run as the running mate for Harris. He was one of the top picks. So if that helps fill
Who's
in
your
any.
governor? Who's your governor?
Andy Bashir.
Andy
Oh,
Bashir.
hey. Woo, child, y'all in trouble.
Yes.
How do y'all
He's
do
looking
it?
at that Mitch position as well. He is on that McConnell position we have to make sure that doesn't happen for sure.
Who is eyeing that position? Bashir? Oh, no, Josh, we're going to need you to stand up and run for Senate. You're going to have to go on and throw your hat in the ring and run. Or Candy. I mean, be a little sweet Candy, but, you know, honey collects more votes than vinegar. So since your name is Candy, girl, you, you can be the next senator, ma'am.
Yeah, so something interesting I want to bring up about our governor and his executive branch.
Go ahead.
Josh filed some legislation. You want to fill it in on the legislation you filed, Josh, about the transgender?
Yeah, so back in the summer of last year, I had inmate in one of our ladies' prison facilities reached out to me and said that a bunch of the inmates around her were getting hormone therapy to transition, and basically, you know, kind of blowing the whistle that it was going on. So we started looking into it, and I started working on legislation, and just came to the point in the legislation that we should just ban any taxpayer-funded transitioning, period.
Yeah.
We shouldn't, no local government, no state government, Medicare, Medicaid, K-CHIP, no government entity, no taxpayer should be on the hook for somebody's lunacy. So the Cabinet of Health and Family Services said, it's not going on, but, you know, we put the legislation out there anyway, which we did. Well, in November of this year, they tried to slip an administrative regulation through and was openly admitting that, well, maybe it is happening in the jails and prisons a little bit, that they're getting some of these therapies and surgeries to transition. Well, I went ahead and filed the bill, and on yesterday, the Cabinet for Health and Family Services of Kentucky, that is under Andy Bashir, sends me an email and says that if my bill passes, somewhere between 10 and 15,000 Kentuckians will lose their gender transition surgeries, and it's going to cost the state an additional $21 million in mental health services because our taxpayer dollars are not going to fund them transitioning.
That's not your responsibility. That's not Candy's responsibility. That's not your children, anybody that pays taxes in the state of Kentucky if somebody want to transgender or not.
That's exactly right.
So you can push back. Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Why are y'all paying for somebody else, Delulu?
Well, this is the thing. This is how it always works with the left, and I'm sure you see this constantly. Is first of all, it's not happening. They deny it. And then it's happening, but it's just a little bit. It's not going on a lot. And then it's happening, and you need to cheer it on. And then it's happening, and you need to pay for it. And that's pretty much the way that they operate. So it is going on. I think their number is a little bit bogus because they're trying to say that all of our policies is going to increase costs for the taxpayers. But I don't think they were thinking after they said that they weren't doing it with taxpayer funds and then turn around and say, oh, yeah, we are for 10 to 15,000 people in the state of Kentucky. And I did an interview with ABC this week, and they interviewed also a person who claims to be transgender from Kentucky who openly admitted that Kentucky tax dollars is paying for their hormone therapy so that they can run around and act like a boy even though that they're a girl.
Because y'all are sitting representatives. I can say this. I'm going to say it. Close your ears. If they want to be a bulldigger, let them be a bulldigger. It ain't going, oh my God, y'all, you know what? That is not y'all responsibility. She literally, no, it's a woman that wants to think. She would never have enough testosterone to be put in a man's prison and think she's gonna survive. She will always be a female.
Yes.
My husband
But at
my husband keeps shouting, just dump her in a male prison. You don't work that way, Dave. You just can't.
Doing that with the male prisoners.
If they dump that woman in a male prison and she wind up getting hurt, they can go back and sue the state. You can't do that.
But they're dumping male prisoners in the
Don't y'all have some buildings that y'all not using no more? Just turn those into jails.
Well, here's the most egregious part of it. This is the most egregious part. So 2 years ago, we banned gender transitioning for minors. We said it can't happen, taxpayer funded or otherwise. Nobody can do these gender transitions. But based on the cabinet's email that they sent me, several of these 10 to 15,000 people are minors, and the taxpayer is funding counseling, not mental health counseling, but gender transition counseling, where these kids are going to counselors paid for by taxpayer dollars. And these counselors are telling them, you are what you think you are, instead of telling them the truth. And we're funding it.
Can you stop that, Candy? Josh, can y'all stop this?
We have filed legislation. We're working very hard. He also done an executive order a couple months ago, and saying that Kentucky can no longer have conversion therapy. If you think of conversion therapy, we don't want any kid to go through that. But what it really is saying is, if you are a faith-based counselor or a pastor, and you get, you could lose your license for telling these kids the biblical truth.
Yes. So I filed legislation to rescind that executive order, and it looks like it's going to move this session. But our governor he could govern in California, and a lot of people don't realize that, because when we went through COVID, he was a lockdown governor, but he was nice about it. He pet you on the head while he would tell you can't go to church on Sunday. But a lot of people's eyes are being opened, because this guy is a way left leaning. And then we have a supermajority here in Kentucky in our House and our Senate, but we have some establishment, and we have people that, when you get that large of a majority, you have left leaning people, and some of those people make it into positions of authority. And so it's a real fight to hold true conservative values and move legislation that, ends some of this craziness that's going on in our world. Thank God for President Trump, that has been willing to sign executive orders and say no more of this lunacy. But we have to act as legislature to make sure when President Trump is gone, that somebody else can't get in there and turn that stuff back over.
I wish that he make a lot of these executive orders, since they have supermajority, start pushing it through the Congress, start getting it in the Senate.
Yes.
Especially the cryptocurrency, the digital currency, cash will always be king. There's so many great things that Trump has done by executive order, but we know executive orders mean nothing, because the next administration could come and wipe it completely off the books, and we'll be back in the boat. Here's a question, because when I ran for state representative and I qualified to be run as a Republican, I took and signed a contract, and before I was qualified, that I would uphold the standard and the platform of the Republican Party. Do y'all have the same? And if they don't do what it's supposed to do by the Republican brand, the Republican platform, then they're out of there, or they're censored. So do y'all have the same thing?
We have Republican Party guidelines, yes. We do not sign an oath. The only oath that we will sign is to the Constitution. So we physically don't sign the oath, but we do fall under the Republican Party of Kentucky as elected officials.
Do y'all have nonpartisan races up there in Kentucky also that you're seeing a big problem with?
I'm sorry.
Nonpartisan races. Basically, people can be a Democrat
Yeah,
and they just sneak in and win as a Republican. Do y'all
and
have
it's happening. That's
safeguards?
happening a lot on the local levels and probably in the state as well, because right
Yeah.
now it's popular to be a Republican. So you have a lot of people that, some of them are actually, they're the blue dog Democrats that hold conservative values, and some of those are actually more conservative than others. But then you have them, they go with the wind. So I can't win as a Democrat, so let me switch parties and run as a Republican. So yeah, that, I think that's going to be happening across the country, and that's something that we all need to be aware of, for where those people actually stand.
Y'all being
So
the lawmakers, what can you put in place to stop that from happening?
it's actually, we can't put anything in place to stop that from happening, because it's, people have a right to affiliate with whatever party that they want to affiliate with. But as constituents of Kentucky and in those districts, they need to do their research just before checking a box. So,
And there has been a few bills filed that would help in a few areas,
in a school
specifically
board,
like school board positions. So Representative Roberts, I think it was, is that right, Candy,
yes,
this session, he filed a bill that would take the school board positions away from, being open to where nobody has to identify who and what they are. And basically what he said was, if y'all want to act like partisans, then we're just going to force you to tell us who you are so that we can know. So when we vote, we know what we're getting, at least somewhat. And then some of our judgeship positions as well are nonpartisan. And there's been some legislation in the past that's been filed that, could help with some of that. But to Candy's point, what a lot of people do is whichever way the wind is blowing, they'll jump in on that side. The other thing that we have here in Kentucky is that Mitch McConnell has basically been the Republican leader of this state for decades. Pfizer gave $1 million to our state Republican Party to build a new building in Frankfort that is the Republican Party headquarters, and it's going to be called the Mitch McConnell facility. And so, that just gives you an idea as far as the lay of the land of what Kentucky looks like from a partisan standpoint.
Okay, I know y'all can't talk about your leadership, but talk about him. Why did he change? Okay, why is he more leaning, and what he's doing is leaning more to the Democrats than Republicans? Do you think he is making his own decisions at this point?
I think he may be a little disgruntled, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what his
Why would
issues
he
are.
be? That's the point. Why would he be disgruntled when the Republicans has made a clean sweep across the nation? You would think he would be happy that the Republicans got back supermajority and that we're changing things back to a constitutional republic and not a democracy. You would think Mitch McConnell, him being up there for 38, 39, almost 40, he gonna be a strong Thurman. That man is gonna be a strong of the Thurmans when he finally sit out of there, and we're gonna find that he compromised a lot. Now I don't like him.
Well, this is the thing. You'll hear this from a lot of Kentucky Republicans that they will reference Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, and I think this is some of the issue that Mitch McConnell has had. That 11th commandment that Ronald Reagan said is a Republican should never attack another Republican. This is the problem that I have with that particular statement, and that is this. We were doing pretty good until we have Republicans that started saying, well, it's okay to kill babies. Well, it's okay to trans kids. Well, it's okay. When it comes to those foundational principles, I'm a Christian first. I'm a constitutionalist second. I'm a conservative third, and then I'm a Republican, and in that order. So when a Republican starts attacking the foundational principles, we can't come together. We have the responsibility to speak up and speak the truth. And I think that's some of, he didn't like the way that Trump just calls them out if they're not following the right principles or following the Constitution. He's just going to call it out. And there are some in our party that are not okay with Republicans attacking other Republicans. I think that's part of McConnell's mindset.
Well, no offense, there's a lot of Republicans in power and leadership position that don't have a problem attacking the grassroots. So if they're attacking the grassroots, the MAGA candidates, the MAGA representatives, the one that wants to put Constitution first instead of keep shouting out of democracy and actually know what it means to be a Republican, then isn't it our responsibility to call out the bad apples in our party?
Well, and we know that firsthand. There was how many, Josh? 9, 10 of us that the last primary we had an astronomical amount of money come in, and a lot of it was from the Republican Party wing of our state and the teachers unions. They came together to come against all of us incumbents that have a more conservative voice. So, and
did you say
I spent $4
Republicans
million.
did that or Democrats? Who?
it was a joint effort to get rid of some of the more conservative voices like myself, Savannah Maddox, Josh, Marianne Proctor. There's a conservative wing of the legislature, and they went against us pretty hard. I think I had $250,000 spent against me in a primary for a job that pays little. So all of us had a lot to go against us. So I'm hoping that they saw that, it doesn't work and that they will leave us alone, but we'll see what happens next time.
Oh, you didn't see the new strategy that's coming up in the next political races. They have pinpointed the 7 states again, and they have already started flooding money into these states and into local races. And
Yes.
Y'all are seeing a lot of problems in Kentucky with that too, right?
Yes.
Yes, we had a lot of outside money come in against us, and it was the usual suspects of the people that want to destroy democracy or, the Constitution, republic. So it was an interesting time. So, but we're hoping we got past that. We won. I think I won by the least, which was like 66%. So I'm hoping that they see
What's
that
wrong
it's
with 66%? The 33 don't matter. You won with 66%. Well, the other
Yes.
34, pish posh. Don't worry about those folks.
no, but we're not. But I'm hoping that they see that we're not easily defeated and that we're the future of the Republican Party. We really are, and we're growing in numbers. So
Oh, you just called out a hand. Are they older than you? No.
Oh.
The people that's trying to take them down, are they older than you?
yes, ma'am.
What is wrong with our elders? It's like they want to keep us in the playpen. We are all our lives, our teachers, everybody when we was growing up. Because I'm 50. One day you're gonna be the leader. One day that's gonna be on the permanent record. One day you're gonna be the voice of change. Now it's our turn,
Yes.
and they don't want to relinquish the power. Why?
That's right. Because they're so deeply involved in it financially. Many of them are. They can't give up the power because they're tied to it. But look at what's happening with USAID. I mean, these people are getting money. That money's traveling around through so many pockets back to individuals. And we're going to find out individuals were absolutely getting kickbacks in their pocket through some of this USAID. And that's just scratching the surface of what's going on.
But a sitting state representative don't make that much money to become a millionaire.
No.
And I don't think we have as many problems as the federal level. By no means.
No.
Kentucky does actually have some pretty strong ethic laws, but I'm sure there's a lot going on, especially in the executive branch. That a lot of kickbacks in the executive branch with contracts and other
And
items.
some of it's interest related too, because of the fact of specific industries that certain people are connected to personally, and then they file a lot of legislation that involves those particular things, So we see some of that as well. And we've had some pretty bad things happen in Kentucky in the past. And so the ethic laws are fairly strong here. But a lot of it is some people, they're thirsty for power and hungry for power. And what we have tried to do is go represent the voice of the people And, something that Candy and I are so free in is the fact that we are not up there to get reelected. We are up there to do the right thing. And it has got us reelected. But if the principles we stand on make us unelectable, we just won't get elected because we're not changing our principles.
Hey man, America never should change our principle, and
No.
we got a solid foundation. Why would anybody want to change this? This is the only
Yes.
reason, and I learned this from Neil Boris, that most nations crumble within the first after 200 years. Well, right, get that off there, Dave. Right now, we're not. We still have a strong constitution. Why do they want us to crumble? And it's the rich, the powerful, and the ones that makes the rules. It seems like they want us to no longer be a sovereign nation. How do y'all two feel, and how do you think you can stop it?
Well, I think a lot of it is biblical. I mean, it plays out in Revelations. A lot of this stuff is going to happen, but it is our job as Christians to stand up against a lot of this evil, and us as legislators to push back against it. So we're working, we're following legislation, we're bringing awareness to our constituents, and we do a lot of praying. So
Now, what else? Because you said you had a couple of pieces of law. The one with the National Guard. You need to get that from sea to shining sea, okay? You need to make sure that our National Guard stays where it's needed, or a war has been declared, okay?
yeah,
a military
absolutely. And I
action.
would love people to check out Bring Our Troops Home. They're on X, and it's a grassroots organization. We have legislation filed everywhere, so if people want to check out their site,
Bring Our Troops Home. And that's on X.
Bring Our Troops Home.
Okay, on X. And then the other piece of legislation that y'all was talking about that you really want to see on the floor, what was that one? You said a couple of pieces of legislation.
We have a couple of really good pieces of legislation. Josh, do you want to talk about maybe TJ's bill on the NRA vaccines?
Whoa, I thought you said the NRA. I was like, wait a minute.
No.
The mRNA.
No, we do have,
yes.
We do have some good 2A stuff that's been filed. It removes all taxes 2A related. We've got campus carry that we're signed on to. Savannah Maddox filed trying to lower concealed carry to 18 years old. You can vote, but somehow you can't carry a concealed weapon. And so we're working on some of the 2A stuff. But one thing we're trying to do is get the jab off the market here in Kentucky. And you see Trump just signed that executive order today that these schools cannot force people to take the shot. So now we got to look at civil cause of action and see what we can do there. But we've got that bill. We have a bill here that would allow the 10 Commandments to go back in the public schools. I filed that bill and have been pushing to see that happen just because of the fact that, it's what our law was built upon. And so we have several pieces. Bill dealing with psychotropic drugs for kids because Medicaid has got 100,000 kids in Kentucky on psychotropic drugs.
Whoa. You mean like Celexa, Zoloft, and the rest of the stuff, like for ADHD or being depressed? Why would the first thing they do is put a child on drugs?
Well, you get a kid on medicine like that, you got a lifetime patient. It's hard to get them off of that. So, I mean, that's money for the hospitals and everything for a lifetime. So,
thank God for RFK Jr. That's all I can say. I love it. Please protect our everything. I don't hear anything that's a negative. Everything that y'all have talked about represent God, family, country, or the support of Donald Trump.
Yes.
And that is what it means to be an American or a MAGA or a Republican. A Republican Party is God. They believe in our family, our military, our country, the Constitution, and it seemed like within the last, I would say, a decade or 15 years, we've gotten further and further away from this document. And you have people on both sides of the aisle saying this needs to be repealed and replaced. What can y'all do in Kentucky, not only to anchor in and keep your state constitutional permanent, but actually the Constitution of the United States from ever being tarnished?
Well, a lot of things that we do, we have to, when we make votes on bills, we have to make sure first they're constitutional. Second, we have to make sure it's not growing government because we don't want to grow any more government. So we're always cautious of any bills. We have a lot of fluffy, flowery bills that come through. It's going to help this person and that person, but it just takes us further away from the Constitution. So as legislators, we're trying to keep the Constitution in the middle of everything that we do. I think that's the only way. If each state has to keep their laws within the Constitution, and we need to push back against any federal overreach. And you was talking about President Trump's executive orders. We were actually joking. Most of the bills that we have filed, he has done executive orders on. So we're
yeah. So. The other thing to that, as well as something I talk about, foundational principles a lot, and I think the key to the Constitution is making sure that we protect the foundation, because that is constantly what they are after. The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, religious freedom, those types of things. And so when you talk about the pro-life issue and people are like, oh, well, Roe v. Wade's overturned. No, they are constantly going to be coming after the foundation. So we have to protect the foundation. And I have encouraged people that if anybody wants to violate the Constitution, I am a constitutionalist. But if you want to join me and we want to violate the 16th Amendment, I might consider that with them, where the government has the ability to levy taxes. I'm good. But nobody ever comes after the 16th Amendment. It's always the first or the second.
And those are what made us. The 5 different things that protect us just in the First Amendment alone is huge for America. And it seems like they are trying to chip away at every last one, even the freedom of the press, because they was buying the press. We just found out. I think Reuters was receiving $9 million from USAID to come up out here and give us propaganda on a nightly basis. And I don't understand how they could get away with that.
Did you see what Thomas Massey posted the other night? He posted, maybe it was yesterday, he posted something that they found out that USAID have funded some of the information that was used to impeach President Trump. So we've done regime change all over the world, which is crazy, that we involve ourselves in that. But they literally our money funded regime change in the United States of America.
And we finding out they funded the Summer of Love, the destruction of neighborhoods, the rioting in the street, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, to overthrow regimes. And it's coming to find out that our CIA was involved with all of this, brought to you by the powers that be. And they just don't care no more. How do we get our country back? Do you think, with everything that Trump has done in the last 3 weeks alone, how much pushback, or do you think we could turn our country around? Because he cannot serve again. I don't want another Roosevelt. And Dave keeps saying, you got 2 minutes. Okay, the last question. I don't want another Roosevelt. So I don't want a dynasty inside of America or a king. Do you think after Trump finished doing everything that we could continue to have J.D. Vance or maybe another person that strongly believes like Trump to continue to have us as the United States of America and not another global country as they're trying to do? And y'all have the last word. We got 1 minute and 28 seconds.
Okay, I think first we need to get back to God as a country, and God has moved mountains here. I mean, all this stuff being exposed thanks to Trump, and I think God was behind it. He saved his life. He saw the bullet, so God's using him as an instrument. And I don't think, unless we give her country back to God. It could definitely change. Josh, do you want to add anything to
No, that's I would say the second thing to that, I agree 100%. The second thing to that is we have to elect at the grassroots level more people like Candy Massaroni, more people that come to their state house and their local government and serve for the
Point your
people.
fingers at yourself too, Josh. Quit leaving yourself out.
Yes.
We need more people like you, Josh and Candy. But we just don't need y'all in Kentucky. We need y'all in all 50 states, especially California.
Yes.
You come down here to Georgia too.
Red.
We need you in Georgia. Come on down here to Georgia. So everybody, this right here.
You got Colton Moore.
Yes.
You have Senator Colton Moore that they beat through, locked up the other day.
I'm trying to get him to run for governor. So everybody, because I did ask. This is Candy Massaroni, and also Josh Calloway. I'm getting these names right. Y'all get over there. Y'all follow them. And y'all get over there, you follow them. It is the Bring Our Troops Home. I'm so sorry if it cut y'all off because we only get 40 minutes. Y'all get over there. They're both sitting representatives from the state of Kentucky. One more time, that was Candy Massaroni. I'm getting so good with these names. And also Josh Calloway. So everybody, y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. Go on, Dave.
Real News with Lucretia Hughes is funded by you, the viewers, not USAID. So to support the show, please donate through PayPal at Fallback Production Studio, Cash App $ Lucretia Hughes 44, Venmo at Lucretia-Hughes, or shop at our store, fallbackusa2.myshopify.com. Thank you so much.
Politicians are very good at playing with words. They always talk about gun control. How about right control? Because when you go against the Second Amendment, that's our right. That's our God-given right, not only by God, but by the founding fathers. So why don't you just call it what it really is, right control? You're taking our rights away. You cannot regulate evil. Evil is evil, and evil is always going to be persistent, and it's always going to be here. So why get rid of our ability to